Bike thefts at stations decriminalized. Don't you just love society? Isn't it so wonderful living in such a high trust society where everything's great and peachy? Where the police are far too busy arresting people for like mean tweets and Facebook posts and stuff like that, that they can't go out and solve actual crime to the point where theft has just essentially been made legal. Sorry, I'm filming these early in the morning, so it's my coffee. The British Transport Police says it will not investigate bike thefts outside stations where the bicycle has been left for more than 2 hours. So if you've left your bicycle for more than 2 hours, they just won't investigate, because was it over 2 hours? Then it's your fault. Then it's your fault. Excuse me. It means most bike thefts will not be investigated and CCTV footage will not be looked at outside of a 2 hour time frame, because it's your fault that you had something to do that took more than 2 hours. It's your fault that you had to cycle to the station, go and do your 8 hour shift, and then come back to cycle back home to find that your bike was gone. What were you doing? Were you silly? Were you expecting the police to prevent crime? You silly little sausage, you. Commuters leave thousands of cycles on racks outside stations every day, including in specially built bike parks with CCTV. Critics say the BTP policy means that those facilities are not secure and theft has effectively been decriminalized. So that basically means that a criminal just has to sit like that. That's 2 hours, and he can just steal your bike. He can even do it in front of the CCTV, looking right at it, holding up his driver's license, and he'll still get away with it because they won't even check the CCTV. Ah, Britain, Britain, Britain. The BTP said the more time our officers spend reviewing CCTV, the less time they have available for patrolling railway stations and trains, investigating crimes which cause the most harm. You don't do much of that either. You definitely don't do much of that either. Simon Feldman has had one bike taken already from outside Watford Junction Station, and an attempt was made recently to steal another. He informed the BTP, which told him officers would not investigate the theft, which happened while he was on shift in London, as he had left the bike at the station for 10 hours. Because he was on shift and he was working, because a lot of people cycle to work. And unfortunately, people don't get 2 hour shifts or anything like that. I did a 2 hour shift once. It was weird. I just had security. I just had to cover a little gap because one guy had to leave early. But that was a weird shift. That flew in. But still, like, people cycle to work, so they're going to be there for 8, 9, 10 hours or something like that. And you can't go, oh, sorry, little wagey, did you have to go and work your very, very hard job so that you could earn that money? Looks like you're going to have to use that money to buy a new bike, because we're not even going to try and fucking find it. The BTP report came back after I reported it, and it said they wouldn't investigate it, even though it's right under a camera, and I found out that if you have left your bike for more than 2 hours, they won't investigate it, he said. I was pretty shocked because what it's doing effectively is decriminalising bike theft, and I realised how many people are being affected by this. So yes, simply wait more than 2 hours and just steal the bike. That's it. Everybody can just steal bikes now. They just have to be there for more than 2 hours. Mr. Feldman said that most secure parking was next to useless. Lots of people across the country cycle to a station every day, and their possessions aren't being looked after. They're not safe. Hundreds of thousands of pounds are being thrown into secure bike parking, and it isn't secure, he said. And this is the problem that everybody's happening. Everybody's saying, go greener. Don't use a car, use a bike. We're even going to spend millions and billions and billions of like taxpayer money so that we can build these little bike racks and bike houses next to stations and next to like public transport places. But even, at like 5 times the markup, because like I said before, contractors, as soon as a government contract comes across their desk, they triple their quote. Because they know it's some little prick who does not care, and they're like, it's not my money, it's the taxpayers, and they'll just agree to it. Every contractor I know triples their quote as soon as it's the government. It's kind of like wedding places where as soon as you tell something, oh, this thing is for a wedding, they like multiply the price by 5. Contractors do that with government contracts. But the problem is even though you're spending all these millions of pounds on these like secure bike places, and you're encouraging everybody to cycle to work and go green, and you're building bike lanes and doing all this other stuff, if people's bikes are going to be stolen all the fucking time and the police aren't even going to look into it, that's kind of going to make people not want to cycle to work. Like, car thefts do still get investigated, right? Mostly, right? So basically, you can go and basically, you're better off with a car. Yeah, I'm not helping the environment. However, I'm not going to have to fork out a few £100 every 3 fucking weeks when my bike gets fucking stolen. It's also a lot more reliable, and I can travel to work without everybody thinking that I'm a prick. Cyclists are in fact pricks. Get off the road. But still, nobody's going to do it anymore. So see all the millions and millions that you've invested in encouraging people to cycle to work? It's all going to be for nothing. Because as soon as their bike gets stolen, fuck it, I'll get the bus, I'll get the train, I'll buy a fucking car. I'll do something else instead. Right, so basically you're fucking up your own plan. Funnily enough, it seems like the things that overthrow most governments are governments themselves. These cameras, you could put a bag over them, and that would be exactly the same purpose they serve. The footage is never watched, the footage isn't monitored, so the cameras don't do anything. So the thieves are so confident now that they just take the bikes in broad daylight. And I have actually seen that myself in London. And I'm only down in London for like a couple of days at a time. Right, and I've seen bikes getting stolen. I've seen phones getting stolen as well. The answer is a tough one. British Transport Police should look into these crimes, but there are so few of them these days. Maybe it's time British Transport Police said, we can't do these anymore, and hand it over to the local police. In a list of crimes the BTP will not investigate, it also said thefts on trains should only be reported if the passenger knows the exact carriage. That poor little grandmother that had her purse snatched, well, you know, she's got bad eyes because she's like 86. Tough shit, Grandma! Do you know what carriage you were on? What carriage were you on? What carriage were you on, old lady? I don't know. Well then, fuck off! Fuck off! Holy shit. Car thefts will not be investigated if the vehicle has been left for more than 2 hours. Oh well, there goes the car idea. Never mind then. While any bike stolen worth less than £200 will also not be investigated. Holy shit. Holy shit. Do you know what? Just don't go to train stations. Just don't go. Just don't go. It sounds like, what did British Transport Police do? What did they do? Give out speeding tickets or some shit like that. Tom Fyans from the London Cycling Campaign said more enforcement was critical. A lack of secure cycle parking at stations and next to no action against thieves leaves London way behind the Netherlands, where nearly half of trips to stations are by bike, he said. Many victims of theft in the capital just stop cycling. If we want to reduce car trips in London and encourage cycling, we have to redouble enforcement against cycle theft, which is true. A spokesperson for the British Transport Police said, whilst we know that bike thefts are upsetting, inconvenient, and potentially costly, not potentially costly, they are costly, they cost money. The thing that you bought your money with is now gone, so you now have to use more money to buy another one. It's not potentially costly, they're all fucking costly. All theft is costly. There can often be limited opportunity for investigation, which is why you have cameras in secure cycle places where you can see. And wait to hear this. Police are supposed to investigate stuff. They follow the breadcrumb trail to catch the bad guy. Did you know that's what police are supposed to do? Maybe it's just in movies. Like, I know a lot of things in movies are like with the police are massively exaggerated, especially about the part where they actually solve fucking crimes. Our experience tells us that at an early stage there are some crimes that are unlikely to ever be solved, such as those without a clear estimate of time or location for the incident, or if there is a lack of CCTV or witnesses. Now here's the thing that I'm going to tell you, right? And we've actually had to do this before. There was a girlfriend that I had ages ago, my ex, had her phone stolen from her. And we managed to actually track it all the way down to the flat. We found the specific flat that it was in. And we phoned the police and went, we know what it is, we've found the house, we've actually seen the person at the window and it's them that stole the phone. So we want you to come down and get the phone back before there's a scenario. And basically the police went, oh, okay, we'll be there in a little while. We waited an hour. Police didn't turn up. We phoned up again, like, hey, me and my pal are, like, waiting outside of here. We're going to go, like, we want you to go in and get the phone. The police went, look, we're not coming. We're not coming. And they went like that, just claim it on your insurance. And I was like, I'm looking at the guy right now, the criminal. I'm looking at him. He's hanging out of his window, smoking a fag. I am looking at him. And the police just says, we're not coming. And I went, okay, hung up. And then instead of phoning the police, I phoned the boys. We got the phone back. But still. So basically, in order to change your community, you have to do it from the ground up, right? The government and state and the police, they're not coming to help you. In fact, the Supreme Court ruled that the police don't even have a duty to protect you, right? They don't even have a duty to protect you. So if the police aren't going to do it and the government aren't going to do it, you just have to do it yourself. And that's when the police get very, very interested. And that is when they'll turn up. They don't like it when they realise that the general population can do a much, much better job than they can. They don't like vigilantes, although it wasn't really vigilantism. We just went up, knocked the door, and asked very nicely for the phone back. And he handed the phone back. That was it. The more time our officers spend reviewing CCTV footage for these offences, the less time they have available for patrolling railway stations and trains, investigating crimes which cause the most harm, and providing a visible presence across the network. I mean, it's all right being able to see a police officer, but it's also nice when they do stuff. We can't solve crimes. We have to be out on patrol, looking for crimes, which we won't solve because we can't solve crimes. And the cycle continues. We will continue to apply a test of proportionality when determining investigation, looking at factors such as timeframes, witnesses, and availability of CCTV that impact on the victim or whether there is a realistic prospect of a successful outcome. We probably won't solve this, big guy. Yeah, we probably won't solve this, so... Sucks to suck. Any offence which is not investigated will still provide us with valuable intelligence used to direct our patrols and operations. Well, isn't that nice? The intelligence that we learned from the crime of yours that we couldn't solve will help us with future crimes that we also won't be able to fucking solve. See, I'm being serious. What did the police even do at this point?